On behalf of the Symposium Organization Committee, I would like to welcome you to the 2011 MIT Real Estate Symposium. We sincerely appreciate your attendance, we sincerely appreciate our speakers, panelists, and moderators, and we sincerely appreciate our sponsors. I would like to introduce our opening speaker, the president of New Wire, Ms. Joan Parsons. Please join me in welcoming her.
Good morning. It's great to be here this morning, and well done getting here early this morning despite the crazy weather outside. As Mike said, I'm Joan Parsons. I'm a partner in the Commercial Real Estate Finance Practice Group at the law firm of Reamer and Bronstein. I'd like to thank Jody and Mike for giving me the opportunity to welcome you here this morning for what is going to be an outstanding event. I was pleased to be asked to set the stage for today's panel discussions by sharing with you a few thoughts about how this recession and recovery period differ from those we have experienced in the past and what this means going forward. I was on vacation last week, and when I returned to the office this week and started thinking about my remarks this morning, it struck me that ramping back up to my everyday hectic schedule after being on vacation was actually a very fitting context in which to reflect on why this cycle is unique. Like all of you, I routinely function at about 1,000 miles an hour in both my personal and professional lives. As a partner at my law firm and as the mother of 4 children, my day usually starts out with trying to get out the door to work while also packing lunches in backpacks and texting the babysitter about the fact that I can't find my son's mouthguard for lacrosse and my daughter has a play date, so it's not the usual pickup, and don't forget to call my nephew later for his birthday. You know how it goes. A little crazy, sometimes comical, and I think the key really is to keep your sense of humor through it all, right? But when you step out of the routine, even for a brief time, like for a vacation, it is startling how a different perspective really magnifies how fast-paced our professional and personal lives are. Everything moves faster than it ever has before. And this is in large part, I think, what makes this cycle unique. As we are slowly trying to find our way out of this recession, we are doing so as part of a global economy where technology is moving at incredible speeds. It's a much different playing field than it ever was before. In prior cycles, the recoveries seemed much more like business as usual with a few adjustments. Many of our traditional policies and procedures and so forth really worked still for the most part with the adjustments, and we continued forward in much the same way that we always had. This is not the case anymore. This recession has shocked us into thinking differently about many things, including how we develop and finance our projects. The way we do business has changed dramatically, due in large part to changes in technology, and the way that we respond to this new normal will determine where we go in our industry. So what are the lessons that we have learned from this cycle regarding finance? We need to pay attention to the basics when we think about financing deals. We need to focus on the relationship between debt and equity. We need cash flow. I mean, I'm oversimplifying this, but the point is the basics. It's important to have skin in the game. These are the fundamentals, and the deals that are focused on the fundamentals are going to be the deals that get financing these days. What are the lessons regarding development? We need creativity and flexibility. We need to be able to react to the market and perhaps go in directions that we steered clear of previously. Take zoning, for instance. It's important to look at our zoning bylaws with a fresh set of eyes at this point. The rules of the game have changed. We need to be able to adjust accordingly. If we think about the site selection process, it used to be common for developers, planners, and community officials to sit down face-to-face, and they still do, but it was more common to have that face-to-face and discuss a project, have a dialogue, really vet the issues. And now it's more common for developers to commission a zoning analysis and narrow the list of potential sites based on that zoning analysis, and maybe never have that face-to-face. And the communities that were being considered, some of them perhaps never even knew they were in the game. So it could be actually game over for that community before the community even knew it was playing. We are now seeing more communities working, and some of them are even hiring zoning consultants, but they're working to try to get a handle on what do today's Class A tenants look for when considering a potential site. What attracts them to one community over another? And it's interesting, the process has taken on a bit of a human resources analysis, I think. Employers are asking themselves, what do I need, what amenities do I need to offer to attract the best employees and to keep them with me? What amenities do they want? I mean, with environmental and sustainability issues at the forefront, and with the cost of fuel going up, we want to live closer to where we work. And once we get there, we want everything we need to ideally be within walking distance. We need to eat, we might want to shop, we might want to work out, and ideally all of these things would be within walking distance for us. So employers are looking at those amenities, and they're also looking, do I have room to grow? Because long-term functionality is key. So I'm not saying that we should throw out all of our zoning bylaws. I'm a lawyer, I love rules, we need rules. So we don't want to give up all control, but we do need now more than ever, I think, flexibility and room for innovation in our planning. Each community needs to strike its own balance with an awareness that if zoning doesn't have enough room for innovation, it could be game over before it even starts. We are a mobile society, and there continues to be a lot at stake. Today's most promising businesses can locate anywhere. And since the way we do business has changed, it's really beneficial for all parties to view zoning as a tool and an opportunity, and not something that's rigid and set in stone. The ultimate goal, I think, in our new normal is to maintain flexibility and to balance control with innovation. So mindful of the lessons that we are learning from this cycle and of how quickly our world changes and moves, keeping current on industry trends and staying connected to our colleagues in the commercial real estate industry is critical. Organizations like the Alumni Association of the MIT Center for Real Estate and the MIT Sloan Real Estate Club, ULI and New Wire, New England Women in Real Estate, offer tremendous value in these regards. As Mike mentioned, I'm president of New Wire, which is a professional organization of close to 400 members established about 30 years ago. Our members come from all sectors of commercial real estate. We are architects, lenders, property managers, developers, just about any discipline you can think of within the commercial real estate industry is represented in New Wire's membership. New Wire's mission is to advance women in the commercial real estate industry. We carry out our mission by networking with each other and creating opportunities to do business together. New Wire is delighted to be part of today's event. A couple of today's speakers are New Wire members, and several of our members assisted with getting ready for today's panels. So on behalf of New Wire, I'd like to say thank you, and I hope you enjoy today's event.
Thank you very much, Joan. I'm Aidan Foley. I've been the treasurer of the AACRE for the past few years, and I helped put together this first panel, which we're tremendously excited about. Bill McLaughlin, who's been a good friend to the center over many years and participated in a panel a couple of years ago, agreed to be our moderator, which we're excited about. He was the first person we thought of. Bill is the Senior Development Officer Senior Vice President at Avalon Bay Communities, which is one of the largest REITs, one of the top 10 REITs by market capitalization right now, and by far the best person we could think of to draw insight out of this panel focused on demographics and demand drivers. So thank you very much.
Aidan, thank you very much. Joan, thank you for the opening remarks. I actually think I was chosen because my office is right there, and being an MIT event, they knew in advance that the weather on April Fool's Day was going to be more like the middle of January, so I was the easy choice from that perspective. Although there is hope. Today is opening day for the Boston Red Sox. Thank goodness they're in Texas. And here's to a 100-win season. As Aidan mentioned, I'm with Avalon Bay. My name's Bill McLaughlin. I oversee our development and construction activity on the East Coast, which as of late has been a fairly full job. It had been a little bit quiet, obviously, in the downturn, although our firm never quite stopped, which I think is one of the benefits of being a public REIT. We had continuous access to capital, so we were able to continue to build in the apartment sector, which is perhaps the healthiest of all real estate sectors. So we had a confluence of good luck in the downturn, and hopefully we'll be able to carry that forward into what appears to be a fairly strong recovery, at least on the markets we're focused for multifamily. I'd like to first thank Boston Properties for hosting us here and tip my hat to them in congratulations on the successful completion of Atlantic Wharf. I don't know if any of you have had a chance to tour. We were here last night for a competition, a real estate competition among graduate schools, which was great fun, down in the lobby. And I think what Boston Properties has been able to do in the midst of this terrible downturn is a flawless execution of mixed use, which is really going to add some vibrancy to this area of town. And the firm really is the personification of high quality and professionalism. So I don't know if anyone from BP is here, but I'd just like to thank them for being our host and for adding this wonderful building to our build community here in the Boston waterfront. We have an exciting panel today. People Behind the Rents is the title, but I don't think that quite does it justice. In my 25 years of real estate practicing, I have seen an evolution from this market looks good to me to an awful lot more reliance on market research and quantitative data to now where we're heading into, I think, a little bit of a paradigm shift into some real high quality qualitative data on our customer, on demand. We've always sort of understood the financial ramifications of demand and supply, but today we have the benefit of three fabulous panelists who are going to talk a little bit more about the in-depth qualitative analysis and data with respect to the drivers of demand, not only in the housing, but in retail and in the other sectors. I'm going to introduce our panelists and then let them have the podium because they have a lot more interesting things to say than I. We're going to start off with MIT's own Professor Joe Coughlin, who is the founder and principal operator of the Age Lab. And as I read the handout, the Age Lab studies the aging population above 45. I thought 45 was the new 35. I don't quite understand. Looking in the rearview mirror, that's not that exciting to me. But anyway, Joe's going to talk about his work at the Age Lab and what the shifting demographics in the United States mean for drivers of demand. Then we're going to turn to Joe Whitley, who came from Atlanta today, from Nielsen Claritas, which is a renowned firm for their analysis. And if you're in the retail business at all, you know very well of their work. He will give us his perspective on demand drivers. And we're going to close batting cleanup today in honor of the opening day is James Chung, who comes here from New York today. He's the president and founder of Reach Advisors, which also is sort of cutting edge, looking forward at evolving trends in terms of demand and customer preferences. So I think this is going to be a pretty exciting panel with respect to the cutting edge nature of the topic. I'm going to turn it over now to Joe. Thank you.
Good morning. Oh, come on, it's not that bad. Good morning. It will melt tomorrow, at least that's what they're telling us. So, by the way, I use this photo to make sure that I'm not the only one who has the same haircut, but I see a few of you go to the same barber shop. So yeah, I don't want this to be death by PowerPoint. I want you to talk